So the two most important texts in this school are Bruce Lee's Tao Te Ching and the Tao Te Ching. We're going to get through both books officially in class. We're on part 4 of the Tao Te Ching, page number 9. The Tao is empty. When utilized, it is not filled up. So deep, it seems to be the source of all things. It blunts the sharpness, unravels the knots, dims the glare, mixes the dust. So indistinct it seems to exist. I do not know those whose offspring it is. Its image is the predecessor of the emperor. The emptiness of the Tao is not a vacuous state of nothingness, because its infinite depths conceal the seeds of creation. There appears to be nothing in the Tao, and yet it contains everything. It is the pregnant void, a field of unlimited potentialities. One way to describe the Tao is to compare it with an empty container with infinite capacity. This container cannot be filled up, and the water that flows out of it can never be used up. It continues to function indefinitely. The Tao is eternal. It outlasts everything. After millions of years, even the tallest, sharpest mountain peaks will be reduced to gentle rolling hills. After billions of years, even the brightest stars will burn out and shine no more. Given enough time, all problems great and small will be resolved one way or another. I got it. Let me check it out. Let's just keep stretching. How's the wrist?
It's a lot better. Just working on getting the strength back, you know.
Flexibility is there, just not the strength?
Yeah, flexibility is there.
Yeah.
Sometimes I move it too much though, and then I hurt some shit.
Yeah.
Thinking it's 100%.
We both feel my knuckle still jammed. I can't like crack my front knuckle. I can bend it this way all I want, but I can't go this way. So I understand what you mean. You said I'll bend it and it hurt. Jack it back up, put you back where you was.
Just having a hard time laying it like flat.
It's getting colder and colder by the day.
I'm loving it, man.
Really?
Hell yeah, I missed it when it's time. Plus it get too cold, I'm out here.
He said I'm too good. At least you got that option.
Oh, we all do, man.
I mean, we do, but there's consequences for every action, so.
Amen.
One thing I will say I do love about the wintertime, it reveals who's real and who's not in your life. For real, like if somebody comes see you and it's dead of winter, it's like, hey, you a real friend. But it's like, oh, you come see me during the summertime, anybody can do that.
Never looked at it that way.
I mean, it's either that or they really want something from you really bad.
I'm gonna do the solo stretches, man. Okay.
So I must ask your name again.
Tao.
Tao.
Right, yeah.
I'm gonna go, hey.
Like Tao
Yeah.
Lotion?
Yeah.
Tao Lotion. Oh, you talking
Exactly.
about basketball player?
Yeah. He plays for Oklahoma, right?
I
I think so. The last time I checked, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. And he got in trouble at some point. I think he was drunk and whatever, but he was arrested.
Who's that Lotion?
Yeah, that was like 2012 or 13.
Didn't he used to play in the Spurs?
I'm not sure. I remember
way you write it, it's like THA. So most of the people say Tao.
Oh, right. Yeah, THADO, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's the H that throws people off. But
So what nationality is that?
South Africa.
Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah.
I'm trying to schedule a trip there, but I'm trying to buy this house. Something gotta wait.
Oh. Yeah, I should check out Cape Town.
Yeah, that's all I'm thinking. I'm gonna go to Robben Island and see all that good stuff. Well, that good stuff, I mean, it's a prison, but
Well, I mean, it's kind of
it's historical.
yeah, it resembles history and stuff.
I used to go to school with this white girl from South Africa.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was so happy.
She spoke differently, right?
Yeah, I was just happy not to be the only African American. I was the only black dude in the class, but she was from Africa. I'm like, alright, cool. Both African
We're both African. Either way, right?
Yeah.
Given enough time, all problems, great and small, will be resolved one way or another, like the unraveling of even the tightest knots. Given enough time, even the proudest achievements of humankind will be reduced to dust. The distinct nature of the Tao refers to the fact that we cannot perceive it directly. We can only observe its effect on the world, just as we can see the effects of gravity, objects falling, but never gravity itself. We do not know how the Tao came to be or whether it came from anywhere at all. Does the concept of place have meaning without the Tao? Does the ultimate source have a source? We cannot say. We cannot pretend to have all the answers. Emperor in this line refers to Yu-Di, the Jade Emperor. He is the ruler of the universe and the supreme deity in ancient Chinese mythology. Lao Tzu is saying that the image of the Tao precedes even such a being, because any principles that govern the divine must, by definition, be part of the Tao. Therefore, the Tao has to be already present before anything like the supreme deity can manifest existence. Any reflections on part 4, anybody?
I had a reflection. It actually reminded me of a discussion I had with a coworker. And he had broken down, not the Tao, but similar. I take it he got it from like the Tao. Where he's talking about like how people are like, oh well, I don't want to lose, like, you know, people get attached to things like, oh, my life, like well, nobody can really take your life, like your actual life from you. You can't put it in like a Coca-Cola bottle and give it to somebody. And from this passage, it just kind of reminded me of like the Tao. You can't contain it, but it's there, like it's present, like life. You can't, oh, I took this person's life and it's in my hands now.
I just like this one part. Given enough time, all problems, great and small, will be resolved one way or another, like the unraveling of even the tightest knots. Given enough time, even the proudest achievements of humankind will be reduced to dust. So it's just basically reminding you that if anytime you're going through any problems and struggles, don't make a big deal about it, because it's going to pass. And even if you do great things and you make great accomplishments, don't make too much big of a deal about it, because it's going to pass as well. You know, don't get too arrogant about it. It's going to pass, like everything is going to pass, good or bad. Part 5. Heaven and earth are impartial and regard myriad things as straw dogs. The sages are impartial and regard people as straw dogs. The space between heaven and earth is not like a bellows, empty and yet never exhausted. It moves and produces more. Too many words hasten failure, cannot compare to keeping quiet. The original Chinese characters, Bu Ren, are often mistranslated as ruthless or without compassion. This produces statements at odds with reality, because real-life sages are compassionate individuals, hardly ruthless. The true meaning of Bu Ren is that the Tao does not play favorites. The rain waters weeds and orchids equally. The sun shines on everyone with the same brightness and warmth, despite variations in individual merits. The sage, in emulating the Tao, also regards everyone in the same egalitarian light, none higher and none lower. Straw dogs are literally small dog figurines made from straw. They were used in ancient times for rituals and then discarded after use. It is a striking metaphor when we consider how we are similar to the straw dogs. We are here to go through the ritual called life. When the ritual is done, there is no further use for the physical body, so it is discarded. Too many words here means too much bureaucracy or too many rules and regulations. I have translated the last character zong as quiet. This can be confusing even to native Chinese speakers. According to the dictionary, it means middle or center. Thus, one may assume the last line has to do with centering oneself or holding on to the principle of moderation. This is probably not correct because the previous line is not about the dangers of extremes. The real meaning of zong in ancient times in this particular context is silence. When we see how the maddening noise of complex bureaucracy and too many laws hasten failure, we would naturally want to reach for its opposite, the quietness of simplicity. Reflection on part 5, anybody? Part 6. The valley spirit undying is called the mystic female. The gateway of the mystic female is called the root of heaven and earth. It flows continuously, barely perceptible. When utilized, it is never exhausted. Number 1. The spirit of the valley is a powerful symbol for yin, the universal female principle. It is eternal. It has always existed and will always exist. The principle has many names. We can call it the sacred feminine or the mystic female. The mystic female is the ultimate source of all living things. The ancient Chinese noted that women were responsible for the miracle of life and therefore had to possess a measure of divine power. They respected this power and regarded it as the basis of existence, the root of heaven and earth. The essence of life itself is a continuous flow. We may take it for granted and not pay attention to it, but it is always there, because life begets life. Its power extends indefinitely into the future. It does not matter how much we utilize, we can never use it up. As Tao cultivators, we are in tune with this essence. We recognize the goddess in every woman and celebrate the sacred power of the feminine. Let us be mindful of the truth that we will all come from the mystic female, without which none of us can exist. Number 7. Heaven and earth are everlasting. The reason heaven and earth can last forever is that they do not exist for themselves. Thus they can last forever. Therefore the sages place themselves last but end up in front, are outside of themselves and yet survive. It is not all due to their selflessness. That is how they can achieve their own goals. Heaven and earth perform their functions without selfish desires. When we emulate this aspect of nature, we think of others first and ourselves last. By letting go of self-centered thoughts, we can feel the way our inner nature mirrors the greater Tao. When we let this natural mirroring process take place without interference, we become like heaven and earth, existing to be of service to others. A genuine selfless desire to be helpful inspires people and wins their respect. Although sages have no wish to draw attention, people single them out and look to them for leadership. Although the sages place themselves last out of humility, the people push them to the forefront into positions of responsibility. Long after the sages have passed on, memories of them endure. People continue to remember with reverence their words and actions. Just like heaven and earth, the legacy of the sages lasts forever. To be outside of oneself in this context means to be unconcerned with one's well-being, to disregard one's body, or to sacrifice oneself. This can be seen as another Tao paradox. We can advance our own selfish agenda by being totally selfless. Lao Tzu was a good example of this. He was content to be a humble, unknown philosopher. He never sought fame and recognition. He never claimed to be divine in any way. And yet here we are reading his words, which have survived the last 25 centuries and will continue on long after we are gone. Make it a point to put this teaching into practice and see what happens. Spend an entire day living this selfless mindset. You'll discover the world responding to you in wonderful and even miraculous ways. Reflection on number 7.
I like to reflect on that unless somebody else wants to go first.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, it says the first shall be last, so like last shall be first. Of course, I assume the Bible took that from the Tao Te Ching, because I've heard that term quite often actually in the Bible, but I see the relevance, like the universal thing, like when people are like putting themselves last, like giving service to others, how people put that person like in positions of power because they feel like that person that was of servitude can help everybody because they've been helping everybody. Kind of like how people, elect politicians. It's like, oh, well, look at this person's track record. They've been a leader in the community or all of that stuff. And it's like, all right, well, we want this person to be a leader. You become welcome everywhere versus somebody who's like a corrupt, like salesman or like a thief or something. It's like they put you last because you've been about putting yourself first your entire life, So I see like I said, the theme in that and the paradox it says, like how you can get your own goal realized after helping others, and pretty much like a team thing. Like, all right, you want to be the star player of a team, but you ain't squat until you win a championship. You win a championship, and you top dog.
It gets me to think about the rank, like even in this school, like somebody like say Shazay is humble, but then say he's talented, but just doesn't know he's talented, or doesn't think he's talented, doesn't recognize it within himself. But then if I put him in a position of leadership, because that's what I want people to emulate, then you can utilize more effectively his positive attributes to inspire other people towards their growth. But then if you have somebody who's, say, confident, or maybe even overconfident, or maybe even arrogant, and you place them last, then it's almost like it forces more humbleness. But then because they already have this inner confidence in themselves, they're going to excel anyway,
right,
even if they are last. And then the people can see the person that is last is actually a good teacher, and as well the person that is the leader as well, that is first. So then you end up utilizing the benefit of both individuals towards inspiration towards everybody, the first place and the last place. I think that's interesting. Because a lot of people that are like just naturally modest and humble, they don't want to be leaders. But then if you force them to be a leader, then you get to utilize their positive traits. But if you just put them last, when everybody already thinks that they're last anyway, then they may not even feel that they're capable of teaching, because they just feel like they're just equal to everybody else, and then people don't really see the inner wisdom that they have.
I never thought about it that way, but I see your point. Like you said, using both,
Yes.
for lack of better words, extremes to meet an end. Like, they're both working towards the same goal. And like whether it's first or last, it doesn't matter. But what is being put first and what is put last, it's like it's structured to go a certain direction.
Yeah, because if you say you see somebody, you know that they're skillful and talented, but then that person that you think is that, say they lack confidence in themselves and they just don't think that they're good enough, but then you believe in them.
Right.
And because you believe in them, you put them in a position of responsibility, and then they want to meet up to your expectations. And then they end up meeting up to it because you already knew inside that they could do it. And then they end up fulfilling and achieving success because you put them in that position. Now, if you put somebody who already knows that they could do it, they already know they could do it, but then you say, you know what, no, you can't do it, you're not good enough, and you put him last, and you already know inside that he's already a strong person, then he's going to fulfill it anyway.
Right.
Even if when you put him last, you know? So then you could utilize that tactic to get everybody to aspire towards their potential. Because if you put the person that knows he's best, if you put him first, then he's not fulfilling anything than what he was already intended to do or meant to do anyway. But the person that is lacking confidence in himself, and then you still keep him down and be like, yeah, just don't go beyond what you think you could do, then he's just going to stay where he's at, and he's just going to get comfortable, and he's not going to reach his potential.
Yeah, in a way it kind of sounds like the person who's already, like you said, is not confident, it's like kind of comfortable where they are. And it's like, all right, we put you in the front, now it's like lead. It's like you got pretty much like forces pushing you, and you got the person that's confident, you put them in the back, and they're kind of pushing everybody else out the way so they can get in the front.
Yeah.
But if it was the other way around, the person that's in the back is like, all right, well, if I'm not being pushed, I just coast along. The person that's in the lead, or who's the, the confident one, will be leading anyway.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's really relevant, because if you look at it the way the rank is right now, with Shazane first and then Bang last, you know Bang has the most confidence.
Right.
And he's gonna keep working towards getting to the position that he thinks he deserves.
I'm disrespected. Come 8 days a week. I fully get what you mean on that, and actually it makes sense, because even, like I said, you put somebody first who's already kind of like confident, like leading the pack, that person that's kind of coasting along can actually hold them back.
Yeah.
By coasting along, it's like, all right, they're not even challenging them, but when for people who like challenges, or I wouldn't even, well yeah, challenges, I'm not going to say competition, but people who like challenges, like that's what they want.
Yeah.
I wanted to reflect on another part where it was talking about the straw dogs.
Yeah.
It's kind of a cruel way of looking at humanity, but it's the truth. Once a person is literally dead, we are literally like, it's like, what use are you other than an organ donor?
Yeah.
I don't know, what did y'all think about the straw dog thing?
I think it's relevant. I think it makes sense. Everything is like temporary. Everything from accomplishments to brick and mortar stone. But I also think that in a way everything is kind of eternal too, because life in itself is an energy. And energy can't necessarily be destroyed, it can only be transformed.
Right.
From the last passage that you just read, I could deduce that he's trying to inculcate the culture of not subscribing to congressional wisdom, where everybody is doing everything just because the rest of other people are doing it. And the fact that he mentioned that we shouldn't work in isolation, I think that is profound.
We shouldn't recognize what?
That we should not work in isolation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's profound, because you really need to do things in collaboration. And having said that, humbleness comes as one of the fundamental thing that you should have, because if you know Kung Fu or you know how to defend yourself, you don't have to put yourself out there just to demonstrate that you have certain skills, but stay humble and just be yourself, as opposed to just trying to showcase your skill set. Because you could showcase your skill set to a wrong person who has a gun, and then that's it.
They're gonna showcase their skill set.
Yeah.
Showcase mine too. No, but I completely agree with what you said. But there's a problem when you want to be a teacher and you try to build a business. Like, that's an excellent philosophy. If you just train martial arts and you're not intending to find students or make money, or it's an individual path, like you guys have your own jobs and you just train for your own development. But as a teacher, it puts you in a position, it forces you in a position to kind of prove that you are a worthy teacher to learn from, which is going against the Tao, but you're just forced into that. It's like a job that you want, but then you don't want to hand in your resume. Even though like your resume is dope, but then you don't want to hand it in because you don't want to show off. But then it's like you want the job, you're going to have to give them that resume. So a martial artist, a teacher that wants to share, he's almost forced to showcase what he's capable of in order to gain the respect of the people, in order to become their student, you know. It sucks. I hate that part of it, but it's just what it is.
Sounds like it's easier in different businesses, you know, when you talk about like grocery store, you know, they give away samples, that's fine and dandy. You give out samples of martial arts stuff, it's like, hey, you end up going to jail.
I try to do it in peaceful ways, like demonstrating fitness and flexibility and speed, but not necessarily like beating people up and stuff like that, you know. Like you can maybe showcase it in choreographed fights or just like say sparring. That's the challenge for a martial artist, to showcase what he's been doing for his whole life, but do it in a relatively safe way. That's the challenge.
I do like the part you brought up, Tao, about how we shouldn't look into relation but collaboration. You know, how we fit in with things around us instead of trying to, well, am I better than this person, or trying to size people up in a way. It's like, we don't have to really compare, but how can we, you know, how can we help one another? How can we pretty much both benefit, you know, find a win-win in situations, whether with people or things or everything around us, instead of trying to, like I said, size up everything, like, oh, well, you know, instead of trying to compete, we should complete one another.
Well said. I like that. Don't compete. Don't compete, but complete.
I like this book because it's so short, but it has so much wisdom. It's like unbelievable, you know. Like the dude's commentary is like 4 times.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
You know what I'm saying? And like Bruce Lee's book is just, man, it's just like going buck wild. You know, this thing is just so, it's just so much, but so small. You know.
Right, it's incredibly small, like very short, but it's also like dense. Like you
Yeah.
can talk a whole day about one whole week.
You can straight up make a whole movie about one freaking quote and shit.
One of my coworkers is a younger guy. I don't mean young, but I mean he's maybe like around my younger brother's age. And he's like, yeah, you know, I'm reading this book. It's the Tao Te Ching. I'm like, well, yeah, it's pretty dope. He's like, it's real short. I'm like, that's the dope part about it. Like, you should read it, man. It's only 81 chapters.
Yeah. Shit, you can't call that a chapter. That's just like a poem and
yeah.
shit.
It kind of reminds me of what I want to do when I find time to make music. Make something incredibly short but incredibly dope.
Yeah.
Like 10, 12 songs. All of them be dope. Like, oh, mixtape? Like, no, not quite.
Like Poopy Tang.
Right. Like Poopy Tang.
I mean, that'd be dope if somebody made like 81 tracks in his whole life and that's just all of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that has all the wisdom you need, like, for life. That's all he made, just the 81, just like the Tao Te Ching.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with quantity either. I'm not trying to bash that, but I appreciate quality, you know.
Yeah. I mean, that's how Bruce was. I mean, he was all about quality, but you see, like, he only made like maybe like 5 or 6 movies
Right.
and a few books. And people are like, man, I wish he had more. And it's like, I'm like, all right, Bruce did that. Tao Te Ching is so short. I would be the exact opposite. Just like a boatload of like 13,000 videos, and that's kind of how Osho was. He's like, all right, you know, you got the Tao 81, and he's just got like hundreds of books, thousands of lectures.
Right, there's beauty in both. There really is. I mean,
Because what I like is, like, if you make a lot of material, then if you pass away, people have a lot to work with. They could like mix so many things together, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then it could create like even better edited versions and stuff, you know? But like Bruce Lee only had like 5 movies, that's it, you know? Like, you can't really work too much with that.
yeah, I do see the beauty in having like, I mean, the qualities of having something left over. Like, all right, he didn't have too many movies, but he had Game of Death left over. Like, Tupac still got like double disc CDs coming out, which is like, man, there was something like, you know, left.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like, it's not perfect, but shoot, like,
There's more.
yeah, something new. Like, people keep talking, like, even be like, yeah, this interview I've never seen, you know, they just bring up interviews out of nowhere.
Maybe that's how I should approach things. Like, come up with a cold song, make them incredibly short, just have like a whole bunch of extra stuff.
Like, you could have like a whole stash of music that you'd be like, all right, don't produce this until I'm dead.
Yeah, like Prince. Prince did that. He had a vault full of music. Jay-Z was trying to buy it for like $50 million. You said don't release the tone. Like Pharaoh or something. All that tone of music.
Stop bumping the table.
Just start making like these, like you make these tracks. Just be like, all right, you know, all right, 2030, all right, this basketball team's gonna win the, you know, the finals, and they just like list every single basketball team. Like, oh man, he predicted the future. All right, just produce the one that wins. Produce that track.
Shout out to the Cubs. I see you. Yeah, even Tupac, like, he was so, the quality, some of the quality wasn't there early on, but later it got great. And he was working so fast, like, he had did somebody. Before the album came out, he came on another album explaining why he did this. Where you even had a chance to reply. And then he dies, and it's like, dang, like.
I like that. He just like just comes it out like he's in the like they'll be saying he's like in the bathroom, he's writing lyrics and shit on toilet paper and shit like that.
Right.
That's dope, man. And he'll go in the studio and do like 3 tracks all at once and shit.
That's called efficiency.